If you're a Resident Evil fan like me, chances are you're more into the classic, eerie, survival horror and/or action approach when it comes to these titles, and not the many attempts at an online PvP over the franchise's long history. But you gotta give Capcom credit, their determination to create an online Resident Evil game is commendable. From what I heard and played, Resistance at the very least had a decently sized player base at launch, and there's still a good amount of people playing that game. But on January 21st of last year, RE8's online component was revealed to be a arcadey PvP title known as Resident Evil Reverse. Honestly, the game didn't look like much. Multiple betas rolled out in April, and it just seemed like a harmless action online shooter that was fun to play for like an hour. What's most notable is the game also seemed pretty complete. We had an RPD map with presumably more locked behind the main game, a good roster of franchise favorites with their own unique abilities, and a pretty casual gameplay loop. That is why it especially shocked me when just before Village's release, it was announced Reverse was going to be delayed till July, and once July hit, it was delayed even further to a vague 2022 release date. All we had as an explanation for this delay was Capcom saying they wanted to deliver a quote smooth gameplay experience. I don't know about you, but when I think of delaying a game for a smooth gameplay experience, I think of bug fixes, patches, and maybe some additional features. But minor fixes like that shouldn't take nearly a year to implement. What's even stranger is Capcom has been completely radio silent on Reverse, occasionally acknowledging its existence but nothing past that. So, what the hell is happening? Well, I have a couple of theories I'd like to throw out there, with the main one being, Capcom did not like how Reverse was turning out. I mean, that much is obvious, but what if they really didn't like what they were seeing? So much so, they decided to completely rework the entire game, keeping its base concept but starting again from scratch. The reasons for this can simply boil down to player reception. A lot of RE fans weren't stoked with what they played, with opinions ranging from meh to hot garbage. What if Capcom saw this and outright refused to have another online failure in their hands, completely rebuilding the game from the ground up or alternatively expanding it to new heights so they can finally have the big, shiny, successful RE multiplayer experience they've always wanted? This could mean a number of things, like a bigger roster of characters, more maps, more modes, or hell, we could be looking at an entirely different game at this point. It's hard to say since we didn't get to see what features the main game already had, but maybe Capcom's reluctance to showcase more than 2 maps is an indicator there wasn't a whole lot there. This is my leading theory since it just makes the most sense to me. However, there are multiple other possibilities to consider. Now, one of the more popular theories I've seen floating around is the game is going through development hell and is on its way to a cancellation. While it's not out of the cards, I don't believe this for a number of reasons. One, the game was almost done. In fact, from what we saw, it was basically 95% complete. Why would they go to the effort of halting its release to fix it just to give up on it halfway? The second big reason is this is still supposed to be an online component for RE8. Everyone who purchased the game digitally has the application, and owners of a physical copy receive the online code which Capcom themselves have publicly advised to keep in a safe place once the game comes out. Not only that, but Reverse was marketed as a freebie for RE8 owners. Canceling it now may not result in any potential legal action. I mean, I have no clue, I'm not a lawyer, but regardless, it would be a bad look. My third reason is, I don't think Reverse will get cancelled because it is part of Capcom's new strategy. Think about it, we saw an online component for RE3 Remake and now for Resident Evil Village, the 2 most recent RE titles. What if Capcom is planning on having a third-party multiplayer entry meant to coincide with every future release? This would be a neat business decision since not only would it make a $60 price tag for every future title pretty reasonable, but it wouldn't conflict with the development of the next mainline game since another team would be working on it. Plus, this would also ensure an infinite number of attempts at a successful PvP Resident Evil game, which, like I said, is a concept Capcom seems to be obsessed with. And this third reason as to why I don't believe the game is getting cancelled perfectly ties into my third theory on why the development of Reverse might be taking so long. This is a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. What if the team is also working on a multiplayer title meant to come out after Reverse? Think about it, if Capcom wants a multiplayer component that ties into each of their mainline releases, wouldn't it make sense that they'd be working on one for the rumored RE4 remake that we know is currently being developed? Having the team split on 2 separate projects could explain the multiple extreme delays we've seen, and it would make even more sense if my first theory is correct, and half the team is tasked with reworking the entire game. Right now, we know there are 4 Resident Evil games in the works. This could all be RE4 Remake, Reverse, my theorized RE4 Remake multiplayer component, and of course RE9, which has been in development since 2018. So the main question is, when do I think the game will come out? Well, regardless of the multiple potential setbacks, the game's been being worked on for 5 additional months since its delay to this year, with a build of it that was near completion. If I had to guess a day that makes sense, I'd say March 22nd, 2022, Resident Evil's 26th anniversary. It would be pretty appropriate since the game is in many ways a celebration of the series. I know that date is pretty soon, but it would be pretty cool. If not a full game release, then at least some sort of announcement on the game's current state. It's also worth noting, RE4 Remake is still relatively early in development, and likely won't see the light of day until late 2023 or maybe even early 2024 at the latest. Reverse could do its duty in giving us RE fans something to look forward to in the meantime. Anyways, that's all I got concerning the discussion of Reverse. Keep in mind that this is all heavy speculation. Everything I said here could be wrong, I'm just going over every possibility. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, then please like, subscribe, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.